Okay, since we know what is information system, how client-server systems work, we know what are entities. Now let's talk about how all of this is related to applications, to our applications. Uh, let's try to identify entities in the application. Every application has a user. User can have settings. If we are talking about companies from the previous example, we can imagine that we have also some stuff related to company, something like employees, which are all of these things are entities. We need to store them somewhere. What but actually what's wrong with storing them just in the database or just in the application? There is one problem that most of the applications they run only in memory. They don't really persist their state anywhere. You might argue that it's nothing wrong with storing data in JSON files, for example. Yes, that's correct. You can store some data till some extent, but JSON files they don't provide you nice query language. You cannot do aggregations based on JSON files. It doesn't provide you scalability. It doesn't provide you access control. So that's why people come up with databases. And usually database is stored outside of the application, somewhere in different computer, and nowadays most probably it's gonna be just cloud. Google Cloud, AWS, Azure, any kind of cloud. Let's have a look how can it work for our application. First of all, we need to know where the database is stored. This is a host parameter. In my case, it's localhost because I have my database locally, right here on my laptop. As long as database supports access control and some limitations for some users, which are called permissions, we need to identify ourselves. For example, right now I'm root. For you, it's gonna be Hack Your Future user. And to prove that this is actually you, I'm root, and you are Hack Your Future user, you're gonna have your password, I'm gonna have mine. I don't care much about security locally, that's why my password is empty. It's a very bad example, don't follow it. Never leave password blank. And as we discussed earlier, on one server you can have multiple services and multiple databases. So you need to specify also what kind of database you are connecting to. Because for example, for user DB you might have access, and for company database you might have no access. So your connection will fail. Let's have a look what we have further. Yes, as it states here, our application is meant to operate data, not store data, usually. And it's very good thing to separate data from the application itself. That's how data becomes more maintainable and application becomes more maintainable itself. Let's have a look at our script again, at our application. Our application is very simple. It's only one script. Here we require MySQL module. Here we are creating the connection. We are not using it so far. But with this line, we start connection, and with this line, we end connection. This is what our application does. To connect, it means something like this. When you call your mother, you say, "Hey, hello, here I am," and at the end you say, "Okay, goodbye, take care," and you cancel the call. In between, you talk to your mother. In this case, you talk to your database. With query function, we can just send some query to database, and in the callback, we're gonna print some sort of solution in the end. Let's have a look how it works. All right. So what did it do? It did 1 plus 1, selected it as a solution, and returned us an array, a JSON object, sorry, with this field, just like that. Now, I want you to do this exercise. Please pause the video and think about it a little bit. I'll be back in 3 seconds. Okay. So the main role of the database in the application is to store data, to store it persistently, not only in the memory, but also on the hard drive or solid state drive, whatever you use there. And to be sure that all the clients can retrieve the same data. It doesn't matter if you use your phone, your web interface, your command line interface, or any kind of graphic user interface. I hope it's clear. See you later.